Yay, good morning, dear ones, and welcome to my live streaming on this third day, up close and personal, where I'm inviting you into my process of creating my own runway for 2021. And it really started this Sunday, where I was in a poetic session and exploring a little bit more about what comes up for me as I step into 2021. And a big word for me was reluctance, and feeling into, so what does it mean for me to be seen? And that's really been, a big part of this year, of being deeply honest about what it is that could prevent this year from really taking off in the most magnificent way, and for me to truly show up. So we're here to create a runway for 2021 and really cement our intention, and also be really clear about what is it that you are hesitant about as you are feeling into what this year could mean for you, what the contract is that you would like to enter into. So for me, the big keywords, as I said, it started with reluctance, being seen. Then on Wednesday, I really felt into the connectedness, tapping much deeper into my process, and also feeling this space of being held. And I'm going to take you a little bit through what I've been processing since yesterday. And definitely today, stepping into really feeling that creative energy that flows through me. And big keywords for me today that I would like to explore is energy, is creativity, which are big things that pulls me into this new year. But also understanding the stagnant energy that lies within me, and especially what I uncovered in my reluctance, the part of me that struggles to be seen. Well, maybe not so much to be seen, but to, as I am being seen, also to be heard and to have a voice. So you can see I've been creative here on my whiteboard again. It's one of my favorite spaces where I really enjoy to allow processes to come alive, and creativity is one of the things that I'm really uncovering as it's like a wisdom that flows within me, through me, and all around me. And what is really, really important is that ability to listen deeply enough so I can notice the promptings that are coming into my space, and using these promptings to create and to co-create. So moving from my reluctance and being seen, and really allowing the depth. So instead of just shooting into the year with big words and big promises that we're not going to keep anyway, to actually just sit back and pause for a moment and say, I'm going to do the depth work. And this is the world I move in. It is a world of depth work, because we cannot move forward unless we're willing to go deep and feel into the energy that we are harboring in us. Because, we are humans, right? We are on this human expedition, on a journey, and through this journey, we've deposited a lot of things. And as I said yesterday, if you view your life as a house, you can visit each room and you can listen into the stories that are still having an energy of yesteryears, that is still lingering around. And a lot of that energy is actually still directing us. It's informing our choices. And if you want to create a contract with 2021 that is in service of your purpose and your soul's deepest longing, you got to understand what is what. So a big part of just taking a moment to workshop what's going to happen for you this year is to listen into those spaces. So as I shared with you in this very personal space, opening a window to where you can kind of peek in and look at what's going on in Karina's journey and what's going on in Karina's life. And it's really getting in touch with my voiceless ones. I've known about her for a long time. And certainly last year I did a lot of breakthroughs. I was definitely being seen more. I took more risks. But it's important to be really honest about, so where am I on that journey? And just because you do it once or twice, it doesn't mean that you've fully shifted that energy within you. So the constant movement in a journey is not just moving that way. So it's really moving inward and connecting to your core, rinsing your core, connecting to that wisdom that flows within you and that creative energy that is within. And that's really in my journey what directs me. It's from this place that I shape. And even in creating this little online adventure, the live streamings and the workshop I'm going to do next week, that all, try not to plan too much. I have an overarching framework of awakened leadership and my different concepts. But I'm learning to really trust and being held in the creativity and also allow it to speak to me in that moment, because each moment is slightly different. Each moment speaks different things. So now, if on Sunday, if I hadn't attended that session with my favorite poet and kind of held that word of reluctance and what's the step I don't want to take now, if I hadn't paused on that for a moment, we wouldn't have been here with exactly this content. It would have looked different, and that's fine too, but it's also honoring what shows up in each moment. And can I pause on that? Can I give space to that? Can I listen deeper into that? So in my world of depth work, and one of the things that I thankfully have awoken to is really to feel those space, because also energy that is stuck has a very low frequency. So all this energy that is stuck in that space, in those rooms, in our house and life, and often the doors are barricaded and the windows are shut and the blinds are down and we're hiding in those spaces and the energy is stuck and the frequency is very, very low. And it's very difficult to create anything from that place. So it's again, if you look at your life and if you look really honestly at your journey and you feel some stuckness, it is because you need to visit these rooms, open the windows, open the blinds, open the doors, let in fresh air. And that's why I use breath a lot and movement a lot to really allow myself to create more space in those very narrow spaces that are created over the years, and get in touch with that, so that when moving in to and creating this runway for 2021 to take off, that in my airplane that I'm taking off with, the cargo, that I'm not taking up with tons and tons of unresolved energy, because that will haunt us. It will get to us, and it's very costly as well. Unresolved energy and unconscious energy is very costly. And another thing that's very important, I am both the storm and the calmness. So imagine to create from the storm inside what it is that you're going to bring into the world, how you're going to show up, how are you going to be with people, with your loved ones, those people that you work with, and so on. So imagine to create from that stormy place, and maybe that is where you found yourself until now. Maybe that's what's also surfacing for you through the pandemic. And to actually still that place, to find more peace in that place. And that is the journey. That's definitely part of my intention every day, not just as I step into a new year. For me, every day when I get up in the morning is a new beginning. It's a new commitment. It's a new day to really create movement and move out of stuck spaces, to move from storm to calmness. I am both the storm and I am the calmness. And to create from a place of calm, centeredness, a connectedness to your core strength and inner. It's like an inner balance. It's a strengthened well-being. All is well in my being. And to create and co-create and collaborate from that space, something completely different happens. And that's where we also can deeply listen to what calls, because guess what? Purpose is whispering in your ear all the time. There's this pull towards what you love, as Rumi beautifully said in one of his quotes, the strange pull that will, and it will not lead you astray, but it requires for us to silence the storm, to be honest about the storm. So this week, up close and personal with me is my inner storm, is the voicelessness, and the little girl, the little Karina, be seen but don't be heard. And for her to train her voice and understand what that means. And in my practice, in my daily practice, as I connect inwardly, and of course also as I become more and more clear, and it's this journey and this runway we're creating is really about creating clarity. So as I become more and more clear, I also know what are the goals within, that clarity that I need to commit to, that I'm going to take into a daily gym. And with that, I mean to show up for daily practice, self-care as a discipline, and to really get wheels on your intention and to answer your calling, fully stepping into your purpose. It does ask of discipline, because our human easily get lost in the maze, easily get lost in the journey, in the jungle. And that's important also to honor and allow that as well, because even in my lostness and in my voicelessness and in my fear and in this scarcity energy that lives in a room inside my house of my life, there's been great learning as well. It's interesting how that, becomes a really strong bridge for my purpose and for me to other people in this journey. And certainly in my speciality of depth work now, if I wouldn't have lived in that and have experienced that, I wouldn't have been able to share it and to gift it, to gift my own awakening journey. And that's what the depth work is about. So you cannot move forward unless you're willing to go deep. If you want to unleash your creativity, you got to free up the energy, free up the space, move from scarcity energy and mindset into an abundance energy and mindset. And the big key word for me to get there, to move into this calm and centered space, is really trusting and trusting that I'm held. Because in scarcity energy, I certainly, it was a very lonely space and very separate space. And I didn't fully allow myself to co-create and to collaborate. And once I started to open myself up, I really moved into, and also understanding that actually I can't do any of this on my own. A lot of my work in prisons for the past 13 years, 14 years, has really shown that to me what my Smiling One, both business and foundation, has developed into is because of that, those co-creative and collaborative spaces, what came alive in that energy. For each day I show up, I learn another little thing. I add another puzzle piece to the equation. So there is no me without we. And that in itself also adds, it just adds another layer of the calmness, another layer of feeling held in the journey and that I'm okay. So why should I be afraid? So I'm taking that voiceless little girl with me by the hand. And part of these live streamings are certainly a wonderful classroom for that. As I said yesterday as well, this is my daily gym. And I invite you as well as we step into our workshop. Let's Get Real 2021, which is not about big words. It's not about big promises that we're not going to keep anyway. It's all about being real. It's all about being honest. It's feeling those spaces in you where you're reluctant, where you're holding back, where you're afraid to take the next step. It's really connecting inwardly. And as you connect inwardly, to feel a new space in you open up and experience that there is space, there's expansion that can take place, and to activate that creative energy in you and to feel into, so what is it that I am called to create in 2021? And as we do that, we got to meet those spaces, the reluctant spaces. So leading up to a workshop, I'm going to be posting also some of the tasks next week. So in order to join our 4-day workshop, it's important that you send me an email. Let me just find the banner here. So to enroll in our 4-day free workshop that is going to take place online, send me an email at Andersen at Karina@smilingone.com, email Karina@smilingone.com. Also join my 2 Facebook groups, the Responsible Individual. The first one is an open group. And then the second group, Let's Get Real 2021, is the breakaway group, which is a private group. So this is a space where you can share the daily task and participate more, so not that the whole world is watching while you're sharing and creating. When you're ready for that, that's fine. But this is just a little breakaway group. And when we're done with those 4 days, we'll go back into the big group again. So send me an email, join these 2 groups. And there's also different competitions that you can take part in. That also, it gives you access to some of my depth coaching. So one prize is a half-day workshop. Another one is the full month, the 28-day workshop and bootcamp, Reclaim Your Power, that is coming starting 1st of February. There's 11 seats. Okay, I love to work with small groups. I really think it's important that you get maximum value of the experience you have when you journey with me. And I call these spaces that you are in residence with me. It means you have access to me. There's guidance, online support and guidance. And also in the Reclaim Your Power workshop in February, you also have this beautiful container of a little group where, it's really important to have accountability buddies. And there will also be a private Facebook group for that. So my live streaming this week, up close and personal with me, as well as the 4 days next week, are really good stepping stones towards that workshop. If you're keen to really deepen your understanding of you, to get really clear on what it is that 2021 wants you to show up for. And this is an interesting also perspective. It's an interesting angle. So what is 2021 inviting me to? Not just what do I want from 2021, but there's a collaboration taking place. And this is what we're going to work on both next week. And I'm going to share with you a very structured process next week. Each day there'll be a task. And I'm tapping into this beautiful tool that I use both in my coaching as I uncover why a client steps into the workshop space, why they are there, what it is they hire me to do, what they hire the coaching process to do. So the same here, what are you hiring 2021 to do for you, and vice versa, to get clear. because only when you're clear can you tackle exactly what the journey asks of you, and you can uncover your soul's deepest longing, and you can begin to align yourself. And the alignment is really, really important, and move into from scarcity energy to abundance energy, and stepping into a success mindset, one where you see challenge as opportunity, where you are going to step into the second year of the pandemic, not feeling defeated, because that can be easy, right? It's like this, it's just this mountain, and it looks like it's never ending. But instead of just looking at the entire mountain, to be able to take it day by day, to chunk it into little pieces, and also to see the wins and to celebrate and to really show up, and knowing that this pandemic and or whatever challenge you're being given is there to enrich you, it's there to gift you, it's there to mold you, it's there to prepare you and bring you closer home to what you are meant to do. And that's really what this is about. And this might be a very different workshop and very different approach to stepping into a new year than you're used to. And that's wonderful. We got to be willing to leave some of the old behind and open us to new thoughts, new ideas, and new ways, so we can get more clear. And that's why we're here, to get more clear. So just to summarize, for me, my clarity, I've met my reluctance, I've met my voicelessness, so that I'm really clear on what's taking place and what I call the basement, the energy that's stuck in me that still lives in scarcity. I have big caution, because in that space it's easy to move very radically, very in reaction, and to do things that I actually don't want to do, and overstretch and overcompensate. And that's not my intention. So I'm clear about that inner storm. I'm very clear about that the key towards moving from storm to calm is connectedness and trust. And in that space, I'm creating daily practices and daily gyms that helps me do that, so I don't default back into the reluctance and voicelessness and the inner storm and the scarcity. And from that place, I'm able to unleash my creativity, because now I can stand centered, I can move from my core, and in that place I can co-create and collaborate, and that results in my contribution, and that results in that I can really answer my calling and be in service in this world. And that's one of the most meaningful things to me. I mean, I wake up to that every day, and certainly also the evidence that I'm collecting over the years is that it is in service that I truly discover who I am and see who I am. So thank you. These little videos are also videos where I'm being in service and where I'm gifting them to you. And my hope is that they will contribute to your journey, and that you can take out things that resonates with you. And I would love to see you in workshop next week, 4 days, where we're stepping into this practice of really creating your runway for 2021, cementing your intention so that you're ready to take off and take your journey into new heights. Send me an email, Karina@smilingone.com, and join my Facebook groups, The Responsible Individual and Let's Get Real 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. If there's anything that was meaningful for you, that really resonated with you, you're welcome to just drop me a note in the comments. Go well. Thank you. Lots of love.